This video was made in conjunction with the Wyandotte County Museum in Bonner Springs, Kansas. We thank you for your support in viewing this film. Hello, and welcome. On behalf of the Wyandotte County Museum and myself, I'd like to thank you for taking this little trip with us. My name is Andy Ackright, and I'll be your tour guide today. If you know about the Rosedale Memorial Arch, then you probably know a thing or two about history. And if you don't know anything about the Rosedale Memorial Arch, then you're about to learn a thing or two about history. Because right here, in the shot above me, is the Rosedale Memorial Arch. So, what's Rosedale, and why did they build an arch? Now, at the time that this was going to be built, Rosedale was a municipality within Kansas City, Kansas. But Kansas City, Kansas was trying to annex Rosedale. Now, Rosedale had already gotten the funds appropriated to build this, but they ran into a snag because of that annexation. Through the law and through representatives in the Kansas State Congress, they were finally approved to build this monument to the World War I veterans of the Rosedale neighborhood. They chose this spot on the top of Mount Marty. It was supposed to be a park where people could play and enjoy themselves. We have some soccer fields, baseball fields, whatnot. But as you'll notice when we go up, a little thing changed and landlocked this memorial and changed this memorial and its site forever. As I'm going up this hill, I want you to notice one thing. Well, two things. One, it's sunset, and that's not an accident. And two, I want you to notice that this arch that was supposed to be built at the top of Mount Marty isn't really at the top of Mount Marty anymore. Check it out. This is the Rosedale Memorial Arch. And that's a football scoreboard. And that's a retaining wall. Here, this magnificent arch, 34 feet tall and a half foot, stands strong with Kansas City skyline in the background. Here, a beautiful view of the skyline of downtown Kansas City. And here, a beautiful view of the Rosedale Arch. Now, if you're on I-35 at night, then you can probably see the cars right now, just there in the distance. If you look up at a green hill, you might see a glowing arch. That's this. But you have to be looking for it. It shouldn't be a secret, but it is. So why build such an enormous monument to men of just a neighborhood, of small community in comparison to others? When Kansas City, Kansas already had a memorial, Kansas City, Missouri had the memorial. There's now one being built in Washington, D.C. But why here? What was the big deal about the Rosedale Memorial Arch? Now in 1917, when the United States decided to go to war, many men volunteered. Similar to what happened after 9/11, except these men didn't know of the atrocities of war like we've seen them through modern media. But the US government, in its wisdom, didn't want to send just one state in case tragedy occurred. So the 42nd Division was made up of men from 26 states. Men from Rosedale were among those men. Now, when they were stationed at Camp Mills in Long Island, New York, the chief of staff of the division at that time was a man, Colonel Douglas MacArthur. Yes, that Douglas MacArthur. And he said, the 42nd Division stretches like a rainbow from one end of America to the other. Comment caught on, and they declared it the Rainbow Division. You might ask if the Rainbow Division ever saw any battle. Yes, they did. After they were sent to New York, they went over to France in November, and they were on the front lines in March. They saw almost 174 consecutive days of fighting, and they fought in 6 major offenses, including the Battle of Champagne, the Verdun Front, and the final Battle of World War I at Argonne. Yes, they saw major fighting. In fact, 1 out of every 16 casualties in World War I was from the 42nd Division. This Rainbow Division that covered the span of the United States. It went on, and it's still going today. This patch I got after going to Dachau. Because when the Dachau concentration camp outside of Munich, Germany was liberated, it was liberated by the 45th and the 42nd Infantry. So the men of Rosedale who had this rainbow name were affiliated, were brothers with the troops that liberated the Dachau concentration camp with this patch on their shoulders. Today it still exists. Rainbow Division is made up of Army National Guard units from Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, and Vermont. Pretty cool that they live on. On May 12th, 1919, the men returned to Rosedale, and what a celebration it was. They were greeted as heroes, as they should have been. There was rainbow decoration everywhere, and they even renamed Hudson Boulevard to Rainbow Boulevard. But the citizens of Rosedale wanted a permanent marker. Although they were in a dispute about being annexed to Kansas City, Kansas, they still went about trying to raise $25,000 to build a monument. The groundbreaking ceremonies were the most elaborate ever held in Wyandotte County. French General Henry Girard was touring the country, and it was arranged that on July 20th, 1923, he would be in Kansas City for the groundbreaking. The government sent 350 men from Fort Leavenworth to assist in the ceremonies. After a large lunch, a great parade was arranged, going through the streets of Rosedale to the groundbreaking site, where the French and American national anthems were played, a 21-gun salute, medals were awarded, and those in attendance recognized. Speeches were given, and French Girard's speech gathered great applause before he took a golden spade and broke the ground for what would become the Rosedale Memorial Arch. So why in this shape? Why does it look like the Arc de Triomphe, if you've ever been to Paris or seen it. Well, that's because it was designed after the Arc de Triomphe. John Leroy Marshall designed it. He was a citizen of Rosedale, and he was actually in the Rosedale American Legion post. When he was over in France, he made a lot of sketches, but his favorite one was of the Arc de Triomphe. So, I made a memorial to the men. The Arc de Triomphe was a natural choice. I mentioned that this monument is now landlocked. Well, being dedicated in 1923 and 1924, it was at the top of Mount Marty. But in 1935, a WPA project, part of the New Deal, extended Rosedale High School's football facility. They built a massive 750-foot retaining wall. And without access steps, the wall truly landlocked the monument. From that time, weeds started growing, underbrush came about, and the city even denied that it was a park. So starting in the 1960s, people took action. Civic action and veterans groups provided continuing efforts to make sure that the park was clean. As you can see today, it is very well kept. In 1972, the city paved and curbed the new access road and started additional improvements. It is and continues to be restored as part of Wyandotte County's history. Now right down here, there's a turn, a very sharp U-turn to get up here, but it's worth it. Rosedale World War I Memorial Arch, completed in 1923-1924 on Mount Marty Park. John Leroy Marshall, the architect. Named a Kansas City, Kansas Historic Landmark, July 28, 1982. Register of Historic Places, Kansas Places, July 1st, 1977. And National Register of Historic Places, August 2nd, 1977. A monument to all heroes, to all those who put on the uniform and risked their lives for us. Thank you. Thank you for viewing this film and for supporting the Wyandotte County Museum. We look forward to you visiting the museum at 631 North 126th Street in Bonner Springs, Kansas. Phone number is 913-573-5002, and our hours are 9 a.m. through 4 p.m. Monday through Saturday. We look forward to seeing you soon.